Hi everyone. The 2010 Mercedes-Benz E-Class is a return path to what people always loved Mercedes for, a solid, safe, comfortable, conservative car in which you can invest utter faith. That's not to say there hasn't been progress, it's clearly part of the new design generation. The E posts impressive economy and performance numbers thanks to careful weight reduction, low aero drag, and powertrain improvements. It inherits a panoply of fancy driver assist systems from the S-Class. But overall, the impression is that nothing has been done to upset the solid evolution and granite-like quality. The design sits somewhere between crisp and boxy, with a bluff front end desperate, almost too desperate, to imply status. The flank design is pleasing, with good sculpture and, in the fairing behind the rear wheelhouse. The look is a bit busy, but there's lots of surface detail and it's hardly boring. And the aero performance is superb, with a CD of just 0.28. Inside, the instrument binnacle is equally bluff, and the switchgear and surfaces feel like they're built for the end of time. All models get a high-mounted center ICE/navigation screen with superb control logic and graphics. Rear head and legroom are carefully planned for this car's pivotal role in the German taxi trade. The body shell uses high-strength steel to produce better crash results than ever without adding weight. The shell is optimized for the V6 models. The V8 and AMG editions get reinforcements, so that the base engine cars aren't unnecessarily heavy. To protect pedestrians who stray into its path, the rear of the hood pops up on impact to give their heads a cushioned landing. A switch to a 3-link front suspension improves crash performance, though it required a lot of development driving to ensure the dynamics weren't compromised compared with the more complex previous design. On the active safety side, a bundled option is radar cruise control with collision mitigation. If the driver neglects to react to a closing gap ahead, it will sound a warning, then tighten the seatbelts, next tap the brakes, and finally, if the driver still remains unresponsive once it deems a crash inevitable, apply the brakes fully. The electronic crumple zone, Mercedes calls it. There's also a night vision option, lane change blind spot warning, lane keeping assist, and, as standard, a drowsiness sensor. Base engine for the US is the 3.5-liter direct injection gas 350 CGI. This makes 268 horsepower and hits 62 miles per hour from rest in 6.3 seconds and achieves 28 miles per gallon on the European mandatory test. Low resistance tires, variable radiator blanking, as well as the low body mass and drag, all contribute to the fine economy numbers. It's quiet in normal driving, but it's not a motor that relishes working hard. In the upper mid-rev band there are quantities of drab, tingly noise, and it doesn't rev especially freely. The 7-speed Autobox, with column selector and plus-minus paddles, isn't responsive either, and despite the number of ratios still has a big gap between second and third. The 5.5-liter 382-horse V8 in the E500 is nicer by far to use, woof-line and muscular at low revs, and happy to be taken by the scruff of the neck for a real power workout. This one cracks 0 to 62 in 5.3 seconds, and that's traction limited. Mercedes claims 4.7 for the 4MATIC. But driving it out of tight corners, at least in the dry, you seldom feel a want of traction. Watch for a BlueTech Clean diesel version in early 2010. The chassis comes in 2 flavors. The coil spring layout has Mercedes' patented stroke-dependent damping, an all-mechanical system. Optional leveling air springs come with electronically controlled dampers. The air system is standard on the V8 and does an excellent job. The ride is properly plush if you hit the comfort button and still pretty sweet if you hit sport, which moves the adaptive thresholds a little toward the liveliness direction. The steering is superbly accurate and never nervous and imparts just enough road feel to give you confidence. Mid-bend, the E is well balanced and manages to feel like it's on a shorter wheelbase. The mechanical chassis option is very nearly as good. Neither ride nor handling suffer much, especially if you go for the higher geared rack that's standard on the V8. The mechanical dampers remain plush on short strokes, then stiffen up on longer suspension excursions to keep body movements in check. The E has a wide range because it's at the heart of the Mercedes business. Quite right then that it feels so like a Benz. Thanks for watching.